Okay, namaste, namaste, everyone. As we're coming on board, Baba Sharon here, back on Facebook Live. I've missed about a week or two. I'm not sure how many I did, but anyway, here I am. And we also have here our beautiful light workers who are currently at the physical location of the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light, which is located in Sarasota, Florida. Also, right behind me, you can see these beautiful flowers. Everybody can see these flowers here. They've been up over 2 weeks and they are just still blooming. And there's another one that's over here. If you can see it, the purplish one, that's like 3 weeks. Okay, so the reason why I'm pointing that out is that when we anchor this light, it is a living light. And so it empowers life, it empowers that life force. So if it's doing that to flowers, can you imagine what it's doing to you? And this is the good news. You don't even have to physically be here because we are connected by hearts and minds together. It's the intention and the thought. And just by the thought, I know you were there in Scandinavia. We were still connecting over there, Vonda, just as strong as everything. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. When we can link together in hearts and minds, that intention and that power is the same. So our YouTubes are very, very powerful. There are people who've had all kinds of experiences with our YouTubes. We are very much behind on our YouTubes. I have to apologize for that. One day it's all going to happen. I'm going to catch up with everything. But the ones that are there are very powerful, whether it's from Reverend Annie, who does very powerful meditations as well, and also Reverend Robin, who is the greatest researcher. It's like the university. So if you want to do meditations, very powerful, very experiential, okay, as well as knowledge and deeper knowledge and higher knowledge, go to the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light YouTube channel. That's the university there. That's where you get it all. I've actually had people who have experienced things on YouTube and actually packed up their stuff and moved to Sarasota. That has happened twice where they saw that and they experienced something and they just decided to come. But no matter what it is, it'll support you, love you along your spiritual journey. So I wanted to take a moment before I do that. I always have to remember, I have to say first before I go into my little dialogue, that if anybody is interested in participating in the Anchoring Light transmission meditation, it's really a transmission. We are consciously aware that we work with the ascended masters and other celestial beings of light. That is clear. There's no ifs, like, gee, I wonder if it's real. Yes, it's every Monday. We have a date. We have a date every Monday that takes place. We've been doing this for 15 years, every Monday without fail. There's a reason for that. So you are invited. It's open to the public. If this resonates with you, simply go to our Facebook page, Cosmic Center Spiritual Light. You'll see Anchoring Light Transmission Meditation with Baba Sharon. That's my spiritual name. You just register one time and that's it. You can get access to it at any time every Monday that we do this live. You can do that. Okay, so there is a couple things before we start. Our actual meditation takes place on the Zoom registration, and that is private. That's not on Facebook, which is why you would want to register and go on Zoom for the meditation transmission itself. But we also used to have our regular chats. This was pre-COVID, and it was part of the energy where people got to know each other. They started talking. There's this nice little flow going on. So we continue that by having this chat. We're all just having a little chat right now. And one of the topics I did want to talk about is, and it's not a new topic, but I talked about the eclipse that just took place. There was a solar eclipse this weekend. Maybe some of you saw it. I did see it actually. My son woke me up, which I couldn't believe it. He did and told me about it. I got to see a little bit of it. But a little bit about eclipses is that it is a powerful celestial energy that can evoke one of two things. It can evoke those that are in alignment to light and love. Okay, the time to, your heart's dreaming, your goals, your spiritual growth, your upliftment and all that. But also too, it can be used because energy is energy. You could choose to do it for good or not for good. And so, you always have those service to self groups, which is like, I want to be in charge and I have an agenda and I want to keep the world in chaos and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's not a hypothesis. That's actually a fact. And it's not new. It's been going on for thousands of years. The Roman Empire is still here. It's never gone away. So, and it comes in different forms, the Babylonians, whichever way you want to say it now. So it's something that when you become awakened and aware, you are not helpless. And this is the biggest secret ever told. The biggest secret ever told is how powerful we are as human beings, as the Adamic race, as the aspects or the presentations of what is known in Kabbalah as the Adam Kadmon. We are not of this world. We come from a very high aeon, and there's a whole galactic story and cosmic story that's involved in all of this. And where we are right now, we're just this much of the much bigger story. But guess what? We hold power. And that is the thing that you would say what I call the counterforce does not want us to be aware of that. And I always use my analogy of the little baby elephant has a little rope, okay, tied to a little stake. And this little baby elephant grows up to be this magnificent, humongous beast. And all it has to do is pull his little leg and that stake will go flying. But it does not know that. It doesn't know its power. It doesn't know how powerful it is. And so it stays chained, if you will. It stays constricted because it's been programmed to think it can't do anything else. And so that's just a little synopsis of our own story. Okay, is that this great delusion that somehow we are powerless in the world we find ourselves in, and that's absolutely not the case at all. We hold great power. Our thoughts are powerful, and I will tell you, light workers from all around the world that's been holding the light, we have been opening up more portals of light. They talked about Jacob's ladder, where the angels go back and forth. There's this thing. Well, it's much larger now. There is going to be way more awakening to people just singing a song, walking along, and boom, they have some sort of great celestial experience. And that's going to be predicted. It's going to be more and more of that happening. But in the meanwhile, what do we do for those who are awakened, for those who are awakening? Okay, it's like, okay, there's a reason why that's happened. And so what do you do with it? Right? Well, you're here to serve. You're here to serve. That's why we're here. Clearly we signed up to say, okay, I'll help out because I know I could be doing other things, like on a cloud someplace, having a sip of champagne or something. But anyway, the bottom line, we said, okay, we're going to come to work and we're going to help out. That's all of us have made that agreement. And so the first thing that we had to do was first wake up as to who we are. That's number one. And then number two, we also have to recapitulate, kind of begin to remember our cosmic origins, kind of sensitively say like, wait, I have something to do. What is it? What is it? I'm supposed to do something. And that is the path of seeker. You're seeking to remember who you are and what your commitment and promise, partnerships and so forth are. Okay. And we work with those enlightened beings of light, some like the ascended masters, most certainly Jesus the Christ, known as world server, but there's also the Buddha, there's others. It's what we call the Amishadai, the family of light. On the ascended realms, we're here, okay, but we are the boots on the ground. We are closest to the three-dimensional earth. So guess what? We have tremendous impact. And guess who's depending on us? They send it realms of light. They're like, hey guys, wake up, remember, and you're not alone. We're in this together. You're the ones with the boots on the ground. We're so proud of you. Oh my gosh, yay, yay, yay. Okay, that's that. And so as we look to them, they look to us, because guess what? We're all part of the story. We all are. So one of the things on the planet that what I'll just call the counterforce or the service itself. And there's a reason for that. And I'm not going to go into that right now. We have many teachings and many of higher teachings. So you have an interest, you could always look into that later on your own. But suffice to say that a very, very effective tool of keeping separation, um, of keeping the lower animal body passions, that might be the way of saying it, is one that somehow we're separate from each other. That's number one. So the whole idea, even within segments of humanity, I know that there was a place, I heard this, I mean, years ago, and I was just dumbfounded that in Scotland, they had a place where dark-haired Scots went, to drink and party, and light hair. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, any reason to separate has been, if you look at the history, this sense of separation, which is a great illusion. We're all one. But don't think that the counterforce doesn't use that to give us the illusion that somehow we are separate to each other. When you look at, celestial, ultra terrestrials, and your inspired star beings, they look at us as one humanity. From space, they're like, that's one humanity. They're not differentiating anything, but we are doing it because that is one of the great illusions, that somehow we're separate from each other. And what goes hand in hand with that, because of the illusion and the delusion of separation, is where the antithesis of love can seep in, and that is what? Hatred. Now, hatred is a real energy. It is a real energy, just as love is a real energy, right? You could come into a room, you could feel uplifted. You could be, when somebody outpours love, people have been healed, totally healed through the outpouring of love. That's how powerful it is. Hatred has a power too. It does. And hatred is where you get caught up into that energy. Not so easy to get out of it once you're in it. No, it's not. It's not. But you do have some that do come, enlightenment, whatever comes in, and it begins. It's almost like a drug. You withdraw from that hatred, and it can follow generations, or it could just be on the spot. And so what is happening, the agenda out there, the agenda, and it has been the agenda on planet, off planet, okay, is to keep the separation going, go through extreme polarities to create what? War. War. Hey, let's keep them busy with war and bloodshed and suffering and all of that stuff. There's some energy out there that's benefiting from that. They're like, yay, look, because we want to be in charge and stay in charge. When in fact, there's a higher level of the Ein Sof, the limitless light. Okay, but just like anything else, you have, like, let's look in human history. You have people like, say, they get into a position of power. Has power not been abused? Hey, I like this power. I want to stay in this power. I'm not giving up this power. I'll kill everybody to stay in power. What does this sound like? Anyway, nothing new, nothing new. As they say, SOS, same old stuff, going over and over and over again. So now that we have more of an awakened consciousness coming on board now, you could say, oh my gosh, what can I do? It's only me. Well, it's not only you. You hold the similitude and you hold the image of the divine. That's what you can do. You have to remember who you are. And when you are crystal bubbling clear as to who you are, who and what you're aligned with, you are fearless. Fearless, because how is it controlled to keep us in the illusion of separation, keep us in hatred? Is the fact that somehow, okay, we fall into fear. Oh my gosh, this is bigger than us and it's going to hurt. No, that's the elephant. As a little baby, you are now this magnificent being of light. You say, oh, please, please. Okay. And those energies, they may want to come in and influence you and say, look at that person, look what they look like. Oh, you don't want them around here. You have to stop that. and go. I used to go, shh. I used to go, shh. I did that for years. Okay. And then come and cultivate that higher heart, that high heart of compassion that unites all humanity and all life. Okay, it takes work. Now, there's some that can get up to that higher heart. You have your saints and so forth that just, the Beatitudes that they just give, give, give. And many of us too can cultivate that, can cultivate it more and more as part of our walk on the life. Keep on working on it. As many times you fall off from it, but you just get back on. But it is great power. Love, unconditional love is the greatest power in the universe. Know how to use it. Know how to use it. It's almost like I just wanted to share something real quick. I just told the story that there was somebody who wanted to have an argument with me over some theological whatever it was, right? It's like, you're a good person, you're okay to believe, but if you have a good heart, that's good. You don't have to believe exactly everything I believe, and I don't have to believe everything that you believe. It's all good. But he enjoyed and wanted to get into an argument. He wanted to try. He tried so hard. He tried so hard. I had to give him A for effort. But all I simply said, I love you, as Jesus loved you. I love you, because he was very much about Jesus. I said, I love you. I love you. Just you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I could actually see his shoulders go down like this, because there's nothing he could come back with. He was like, okay, walked away. Okay. So the key here that I want to say to all of us that are listening to this right now, you're going to run into some very angry, angry, angry people. And you may even run into those that carry such hatred in their hearts. That's unbelievable. It is foreign to us, that kind of hatred, but it's real. I'm here to tell you it's absolutely real. It's a real energy, and somebody can be caught up in that. When you find someone like that, the thing that you could simply do is simply not fall into the energy and be reactive. No. True mastery is when you act, not when you react. You understand the situation with what it is. They don't know, they don't know. They're caught up in the energy. And what a lot of times that I have simply done from a distance, and this is so powerful, this is what I do. Okay, I see, because we are at the time of the Shekinah presence, the Holy Spirit. This is the time of the Holy Spirit. If anybody said, gee, I used to wonder as a kid, I wonder what the Holy Spirit is. Well, I now know exactly what the Holy Spirit is. The movement of God, it is feminine in nature. So it's nurturing and it's loving and it's caring. Okay. And all I simply do when I see somebody wrapped up in the illusion of separation, when they're caught up in the energy of hatred, I simply see in my mind, as I'm doing it, the dove, which represents the Holy Spirit, divine Shekinah, and I see the pillar of light over that person. I'm here to testify. I'm here to testify. I have seen transformation take place simply holding that vision over that person. Then what we could do is hold the vision over a community, over a group, over a country. We can do that. And don't think for a minute, your individual, thoughts impinge, much less if we come together and focus. And we've been here before, many of you have participated, where we come together as a tribe of light, using the names of God to dismantle very nefarious thought forms that would like to manifest on the planet. And guess what? We intercept it. Now, we may not be able to stop it all, but we can at least mitigate it. But if you're walking down the street and you're seeing something and you pick up, oh my gosh, this person's full of anger and hatred and revenge and all the things that are part of that energy, okay, you don't have to engage in it directly. I mean, you discern to say that's not acceptable here. I'm not talking about that. But you can, without you getting angry or upset or reactive, stay in your center. I always say to breathe, stay in your center. That is your mastery. And you simply send love to that person, because don't you think they need it? Didn't Jesus say, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do? And this is exactly the truth. They know not what they do. So we can't come like, oh, we got to get back at that person and have that reaction. That's not fair. There's rules and laws in any society that must follow, and there's a justice that's connected with that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what we can do silently behind the scenes using our thoughts. Our prayers and our words have great power. And when you are aware of it and you do it, it has double power. I know what I'm doing when I send a layer with Shekinah, like, see ya, bye. I know the impact that's going to happen there. And it does impact. And like just how prayer can impact a particular situation when people come together, connected through hearts and minds, so too individually you out in the world, because you're going to see all that hatred. You're going to see all of that discourse and chaos. And you know that it's coming not just on one level, it's coming on many, many levels. And so you simply call divine intervention, hold a layer with Shekinah, because on a much larger scale than what we are able to do just little us, but we're not just little us, we're connected to something magnificent and very, very powerful. So that's all I wanted to say, and say namaste to our family of light on Facebook Live. We will see you next week. God bless.